Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Today, Seneca and I are going to talk about marketing as stewardship, which is kind of an oxymoron in most people's minds. But this is something that God's really spoken to me about. And so we wanted to talk about that with you, and hopefully y'all will get some good freedom and success from your marketing efforts if you can shift your thoughts and beliefs on that.
Yeah, that's kind of a hang up for most people, I think, that are in business, especially Christian entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
because we've all seen marketing done really badly.
Yeah.
And I think part of our complete revulsion of it is we're picking up on the manipulation aspect of it, which is witchcraft.
Mhm.
So we're like, no, I'm not a marketer. I can't possibly market my business, which is, you know, kind of you're not going to get anywhere with that attitude. So we're hoping to
Yeah.
take care of some of that for you.
Yes, I can tell you, I've tried. No, you won't get very far unless you do marketing. um, and inherently, marketing isn't as much, I think, selling, or at least hardcore selling, as it is just letting people know that you have something that is going to be of benefit to them. If you don't think that whatever it is that you have that you're wanting other people to exchange their time and effort or money for is going to be of benefit for them, then probably you should check out something else to be in
Yeah,
business to
yeah.
do.
You
So
have to
yeah,
you have to 100% believe in what you're selling. Because
yeah.
if you don't, then yeah.
Well, and that, because that disconnect is going to come across, people may not be able to identify that that there's a they won't notice necessarily, or be able to say that, oh, I like, you sound insecure. Like, they're not going to pick up on that, but they're going to pick up on that mismatch between what you're saying and how you really feel about what you're saying. So, and that's a problem. That disconnect is going to say, oh, they're not being truthful.
Right.
Whereas,
Yeah.
it isn't, you are being truthful in what you're saying, but you're not congruent within yourself because you don't really believe what you're saying. So that's where the difficulty comes in. So, and sometimes that can be just insecurity. It can be, a whole host of other things.
Imposter syndrome. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, all those things. So, and that's, the enemy likes to reinforce our negative beliefs about ourselves, and so this is a way he does that. So, not a good, no bueno. But one of the things, just, if you have something that is of great benefit to people, that is helping them, that has worked for you, it's worked for people that you've tried it on, and there's always going to be some people that they're not happy. So, nothing is 100% for everybody, and that's fine. So don't take one person saying, oh, this is horrible, and, take that against. If you do that, you won't ever do anything, because that's just, there are always those people. They are not your people. Don't worry about them. So, but for your people, it can be a very life-changing, life-giving, and liberating thing for them to participate with you in whatever it is that you're offering them. So if you truly believe that, and again, it's a process, so don't beat yourself up either. But if that's something that God has given you to do, and you really feel like this is where he's led you, this is what he wants you to do, then stewarding that gift well looks like letting other people experience what you have to offer. It's kind of like the classic, you're putting your light under a bushel. If you're not putting it out there, the light may be shining as bright as can be, and it may be very warm, it may be lovely, but if it's under a bushel, no one else can see it. So it isn't doing what it's designed to do, and it's not helping all of the people that it could help. So, so
Should
that's,
go without saying, but it does not.
yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, there are a lot of things that when you think about it, you're like, well, of course, but you do need to be told it, and sometimes rather frequently.
Well, and we think it looks like humility to not go around tooting our horn about our products and services.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's just another one of the enemy mind games to
Hmm.
make sure that nothing ever happens and nobody gets free and healed and whatever it is that you and your
Yeah.
company are blessing them with.
Yeah. And that's it. I heard it described one time where if you have a water store and you have water and someone comes in and says, I would like a half a cup of water, then it is kind of your responsibility to inform them that, well, here's your half cup of water, but you do know that in order for your brain chemistry, for your body to work appropriately, you do need to have 7.5 more of these cups, or 7.5 cups of water a day. And the choice is up to them. You're not forcing them to make a choice that they don't want to make, but it's your, I do have more water, so you can have more than one of these. So it's in their best interest, because they're going to, like in the case of the water, they're going to be operating at their peak potential if they have that knowledge, if they have that information, if they have access to that resource. So, and that's the same for everything that we do. If it's so we're stewarding that gift well, not just for ourselves, but also for the world around us. And that's I think oftentimes we don't tend to consider. It's almost and for me, that it was kind of like a big ouch when I first heard that. I was like, okay, God, yes, sir. It's like, because and so I will push myself more, and I don't say that I've mastered marketing or any of that. We're all in process and are learning things and what works well for us and what doesn't, and all of that, because it doesn't look the same for everybody. So you can try things that other people do and see if they work for you, and if so, great. If not, tweak them and adjust. But when I realized that if I'm holding on to my books or whatever it is that I have to offer, and I'm not putting them out there and I'm not letting people know, then it's possible that they may remain in bondage longer or entirely, because I was not a faithful steward of what I was given. And so that's
very
sobering thought.
sobering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that to me is terrifying. Like, I don't want to get to heaven and be like, dude, you really should have. I'm like, no.
Because I was scared to open my mouth.
Yeah. Because I was afraid of what they would think of me, or if they would think that I was salesy, or if they would think this or that or the other thing. It's and
yeah. And we're not talking about hard sells at all,
Well, and it's like somebody said, or manipulating people to do something against their will. Sales is inherently what's the word? You are trying to convince someone. You are, that is the sales process. You are informing them, you are hoping to influence their decision in favor of whatever it is that you're advising them to do. The difference is you are doing that for their benefit as well as yours, but that's a win-win is exactly what we want here. That's what business should be in the kingdom. It should be a win-win-win for like whoever's involved in the situation. It should be a really good thing. So versus the hardcore manipulative selling is they're trying to get you to do something that is not in your best interest. So, and we don't want to do that.
And there's tons of information out there on how to master the art of persuasion and, use certain words to play on people's emotions and trigger people until they get upset enough that they want to buy your thing. And
And I think that line is kind of fuzzy. I don't think it's a super hard line. And it is, but I think a lot of it kind of gets back to where are you coming from in here in your heart, versus not that you can't cross lines meaning well, because we've all heard people pray those prayers, but We always have to keep in mind that you're informing, you're instructing, you are trying to persuade them to believe you because what you're saying is true and is going to be of benefit to them. The decision is always theirs. They can choose, just like God gives us the choice. So we can give them that grace and that freedom to make the choice. But also partly marketing is then starting a relationship with that person via your email or online or whatever, so that if and when they're ready to make that choice, then they remember that you're there. So it's also partly staying top of mind. So because I've done that before too, just as a consumer or a customer. I've been like, okay, I can't do that right now. And then I'm like, okay, later when I'm ready for it, I can't remember who it was. So I have gone without because I didn't have that relationship built. And then there have been other things where I'm not ready for it now. Later, I was ready. I was still, because I was on their email list, I was still kind of plugged into their world. And so then they made me an offer at the right time in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, I'm ready. Let's do it. So
Yeah. And I'll sign up on people's lists just because I know that. I know I'm not in a place right now to do anything with that, but I don't want to lose track.
yeah. Yep. So, and I think one of the things too, excuse me, is to remember that when you're crafting your things, your email or your marketing materials of whatever form and shape, to not assume that just because people said no to you once, they're always going to say no. Because it's fairly unusual for people just to like walk into your world and say yes and just buy your thing. That is very rare. So whereas people that stick around for a while, then they may, or you may develop the thing that they're like, oh, that's what it was. So, but so hopefully we've given you guys some good food for thought. And I think one of the other things that I kind of want to mention is one of the things I heard a rabbi say one time is that he talked about that the Jewish belief system is that an exchange of funds is a recognition that you've served God's children well. So that's kind of another part of that if that's all. Money is just energy. It's just it is not good or evil in and of itself, but it likes to be used in good ways. And so if you are providing a good service and you are letting people know that your service is out there and it exists, then there should be a flow of money to you because you are serving God's children well.
Well, and you generally will need money if you're going to take the thing bigger. If you're going to expand it more to reach more and more people, you need money to do that.
Yeah.
So you might as well get comfortable with it. And while we're on the subject of marketing, Alice and I have a 5-day challenge. It's $5, and there's a whole section in there on marketing. Basically, there's 5 things that need to happen within every business. And your business will be different and unique, and your gifts and talents are different and unique. So we give you a lot of different ways to nail each one of those 5 points. So then your job would be to go back to God and go, okay, which one of these is right for me? But, getting all of those 5 working together is something that just needs to happen. So it's called the Supernatural Business Challenge, and it's at supernaturalbiz.com.
Yeah. And you can also get the book. We wrote a book based on that class. So that is available wherever books are sold. It's also $5. So depending on which format works better for you. So I do think we reference the challenge in the book.
We do.
So and there's videos and worksheets and that kind of thing, which would probably be helpful for you as well. So, but if you're a book person rather than a class person, that is a bit. All righty, y'all. We'll talk to you next time.